welcome to WRPV and WRPV Studios. And I know that I should have put like some stuffing in my shirt so I look as good as this guy here. Okay. With me is Frito St. Hilaire.
You got it.
And you happen to be a personal trainer.
I am.
Okay. And since we live in a world of proof of concept, he's proof of concept. And I'm the beginning where you want to start from. Okay. So why did you get into this?
Basically about health. I wanted to continue health for myself, and not only for myself but others. And with me having a sports background, that was from the beginning stages up until now.
So basically, you did a lot of sports in school?
I did.
So basically, you had no choice but to keep yourself fit and
That's
healthy.
correct. That's
okay.
correct.
Unlike me, okay, who didn't. Well, I can't say that because I was on the wrestling team. I coached gymnastics.
There you go.
I was in much better shape when I was younger. What happened?
Life.
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 Oh, I thought it was marriage, but I guess it was life. I guess it was life. All right. So how long are you doing this?
Over 20 years.
Okay, so you decide that you're going to now become a personal trainer.
Correct.
Hard industry to get into?
It is.
Because there are so many, or because people are just weary about personal trainers?
It's first of all, it's a big competition. It's a big field that everybody could usually either pick it up as a main career or something on the side. So the competition is out there, and then with that, depending on your experience, the prices could kind of be up there. With the whole pandemic that we went through last year and we're still kind of going through, it could be a challenge, price-wise. Definitely could be a challenge. So
your clients, mainly male, mainly female, a mix?
I have a good mix.
You have a good mix?
I have a good mix of clients.
Okay. So I know you'll hate to answer this. Who do you prefer to work with, the men or the women? Who gives you a harder time?
To be honest, men give me a harder time. They'll see me and they're intimidated.
Right.
And the females are a lot. They really want to get to that point where post-baby, eating, whatever the case may be that get them to get to that point, they're a lot easier. But it's the men that try to challenge themselves out and put themselves to a limit that they can't handle. That's why I'm there coaching and I'm guiding them to let them know, hey, you really don't have to go there. It's baby steps. We could go certain reps, certain sets, and we don't have to overload ourselves and do too much.
Do you think, like, men want to be all kinds of buff and stuff? Women just want to have that figure.
Right.
I mean, there are some that want to be buff, and stuff, but women just want to be women and have that figure. So it's not like, they have to be lifting 450 pounds.
Nope.
Is it easier because that's what they're trying to do, and men are just trying to, like, have arms that are, like, 60 inches round?
Yeah, so women, when they approach me, they want to just get to the point that they used to be. They're showing me pictures and stuff how they used to be before the baby or whatnot, and they want to get there, back to that point, and maintain it. It is definitely a goal, and it's achievable. But like I tell them, they could entertain me and hire me as a trainer. 95% of what we do in the gym, outside the gym, at the park, is only 5% of what we do. 95% of that is what you do outside of our sessions, at home, when you're challenged to eat what you're supposed to eat, when you're challenged to drink what you're supposed to drink. A lot of people take advantage of drinking water. When they come to me, I do an analysis that shows them their body percent fat and everything as far as how much their bicep and their leg weighs. And if your water percentage is not over 100, then that's something that you're lacking, and you definitely need to up that number.
So I have always been told that water is the key to really being healthy.
Okay.
Okay, and I was lacking, like everybody, because you get addicted to soda.
Correct.
Now, I've given up soda.
Okay.
Probably the best thing I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might even be better than giving up fast food. Okay, not that giving up fast food is a bad thing. So the thing that you mentioned, which was interesting to me, is not what you do, because that's only 5%. My mom is 89, and I moved her into my house, and she goes for physical therapy. And they come twice a week. But she won't get better unless those other 5 days, or that makes the 7-day week,
right,
she does something Because if they come on a Monday and they work with her and then they'll come to a Friday, does what she did kind of weaken?
It doesn't weaken, but she needs to pick up where she left off. So let's say I'm with a client on a Monday or for a Monday session. I'm always giving them tips and tools and text messages of a workout. So that way, if we meet once a week, when they come back on a Wednesday or Thursday and they're not with me, I'm giving them the workout to do on their own. So that way, just in case they're new to the gym or they don't remember this machine that we went through the previous day, then they can have it right then and there for them. That's why we now utilize the whole social media. I'm taking videos of myself and each workout, each machine that they need that kind of assistance and help with. YouTube is big. There's a lot of them out there.
Yep.
But it's certain machines. You could do so many different workouts on one particular type of machine, literally.
Interesting. Okay, so this would be my concern. So I lost 40% of my lung function in 2010. I had a heart attack and triple bypass. I'm surely not 20 anymore, or 30, or 40, or 50. Okay, so I choose that now that I want to get healthier. But I go to the gym and I do the treadmill and I do the stepper, whatever, and the next day I'm miserable. Okay? Does that go away by continuing to do, or did I just do too much in one shot?
Keep this in mind. It's all mental.
Okay.
It's all mental. We all have something in our bodies that's making us wake up automatically in the morning. And for us to get up and go brush our teeth or make that coffee or whatever beverage of choice, it's all mentally there for us to walk us to the kitchen and prepare that. Okay? So just like if you were to get to the gym, whether it's been a year, 2 years out of it, when you get in there, that work that you're going to do, you're going to see how far out you've been doing it. So once you get into that routine and you have it mentally set in your mind to go ahead and accomplish that goal and that task, then it's all it's easier track right after that.
So here's a great example. I was in the hospital once for 28 days. So my muscles all atrophied.
Okay.
And I'm a guy, so I'm not that smart. And I decided not to go to rehab and physical therapy.
Okay.
And I'm walking my dog and I fall in the parking lot.
Okay.
And I think that I'll just be able to get up. Yeah, that wasn't happening.
Okay.
I had to crawl to a car and use the tire because my upper body strength was still there.
Right.
Does that ever come back? Because even today, years later, it's still more difficult than I think it should be for me to get down on my hands and knees and then get back up.
There needs to be some kind of exercise routine, whether it's stretching, and stretching is big. Before and after workouts, I literally do that before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, before I work out, even after I work out. So stretching is huge. Yoga, something to that nature is big. So now you lost a lot of muscle mass while you were laid up. So you basically need to gain that muscle mass and that muscle memory in order to get your body back to where it needs to be. Once that is set in stone, then it'll be an easier way to get back and fall right back in the line where you were.
Okay, is it a long... my philosophy is there's no instant gratification. Life is a journey, not a destination.
Correct.
My question is it a long journey from somebody who has their muscles atrophied, that have a hard time getting up and whatever, to a point where it goes back to not perfectly normal, but back to normal?
It depends. If you want to incorporate on doing it 4 times a week or 4 days a week, that's what's going to get you back to it a lot quicker. So if you want to do it once a week, then you know it's going to be a longer time frame to get it back where you need to be. So you can work out from 6 days a week, 5 days, 4 days, 3 days. Obviously, the more that you work out, the days or times you do it throughout the day, that's the quicker you get back to where you need to be.
Interesting, because my doctor said, hey, you need to walk because for your heart, you need to be walking.
Okay.
So I went on a walk and my legs were killing me. If I start doing it more days, will that pain go away?
It will. So that's when stretching comes about, and you have to make sure you have the fluid in you. So it's almost like baby steps. It's almost like going back to where you were when we were first infants. We learn how to crawl, we learn how to walk, get that muscle memory, get that mass going. So that way, as you get back into it as an adult, it's there. Somewhere in there, it's there. You just have to repetitionally get it back to where it needs to be.
You know, guys, and the reason I bring on people like this is because one is I don't know, and I want to learn, and I have the blessing of being able to share somebody who knows what they're talking about with you guys. Now, we're going to run out of time, but I wanted to just talk about, it's more than just the exercise. It's about nutrition.
Correct.
Okay, what path of nutrition do you take?
Well, recently I've started promoting Herbalife.
Okay.
And I introduced that to my clients, and for more information on that, they could just reach out to me about it when they are with me. Let's say they're with me and they're saying, Frida, I've seen the results. Thank you very much for that, but I need something else. And then I'll quickly ask, how is your eating? How is your nutrition outside of here? Well, I'm still kind of getting those urges of getting in the refrigerator 2 a.m. I pass by a fast food, though that golden arch is still calling my name. And I'm just like, that's the challenge. That is it right there. And like I told you in the beginning, it's all mental. So with this product that I'm now a part of, it's meal replacing. So either then with everybody, we got to eat 6 times a day. And obviously I would do a breakfast, snack in between, do a lunch, snack in between, do a dinner. And before I snack, I would just drink water for the rest of the night, go to bed, let it recover or let it get in my system. And then I'll do the same thing the next day.
Okay. So you're in pretty good shape.
Thank goodness.
Okay. Unlike me. You ever eat McDonald's or Burger King? Ever eat fast food?
I do not anymore. It's been 10 years I've stayed away from that.
But can somebody who's working on a health path once a month go to McDonald's? Will that really hurt them?
It can, and it yes and no. Okay. So now a lot of these fast foods do have nutritional menus, which is good. I applaud them for that. So when you go and you have those one time, let me get a Big Mac because I haven't had one in a while, yeah, you'll put it in and it'll quickly boost up your fat metabolism. But as long as you're doing something on the back end to make sure you stray away from that, because that to be honest, that meat stays in your system for 365 days. A lot of folks don't know that.
I'll tell you something interesting because then we'll talk about how people can get you. Mm-hmm. So in this industry, I get to do things that a lot of people don't get to do.
Yep.
So somebody comes up with this great idea to make a Krispy Kreme donut burger. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I've seen that.
Okay. So now it's going to come to the South Florida Fair first time. Well, who gets to try it? Me. So I said to myself, you know what? That's got to be really unhealthy. So what I'll do is I'll try it right in the morning and then walk the whole fair. Mm-hmm. So I tried it, and then I walked the fair, and I was telling my doctor, and he said, Wayne, you took in 3,000 calories, and you walked the fair, and you burnt 140. Okay, so don't think you did so good. Don't think you did so great. No. But I have had other people I spoke to that say life is about moderation, and you know what? It's not going to kill you if you have a burger. But what they say is that today's fast foods are almost, they have ingredients in them are addictive, and you can't get away from them, just like sodas.
Correct.
Okay, so I gave up soda. Caused kidney stones for me.
Correct.
I will drink every so often a ginger ale if I feel queasy.
Right.
I will never, ever, ever, never, ever drink a dark soda. Okay.
Okay.
Because that's poison.
Oh.
Okay. I was brought up a bazillion years ago where you were a little queasy, so you know what? They gave you ginger ale. And it's not like I'll go out and, hey, let me just get soda because I'm thirsty.
Right.
I'll get a water. And today there's like 8 gazillion different kind of waters. Does it really make a difference?
It does make a difference, and it all depends the name brand, and then once I'm always looking at the nutritional facts that's on there, that black and white label that's on your bottle. That's going to tell you everything you need to know. So if you're grabbing something that has like 600 calories with one and then 250 for the other,
you're going to go to
right.
Somebody posted on Facebook, to you Northerners, the bottled water that you buy, we swam in it first because a lot of it comes from places where we swam, you
Right.
know, and stuff. How do people find you?
Well, you could definitely find me on my website, freestrengthfitness.com.
Okay.
And then I'm also in Instagram and I'm on Facebook as well. So those you just Frito St. Hilaire and you'll find me on either of those.
You have a phone
those.
number people can call you if they want to hire you?
Sure. My phone number is 954-397-8280. Is my personal number.
Where, okay, just because this is a new day and age, so just because his number is 954, that doesn't mean he's in Broward County.
Correct.
Okay, you're
Uh-huh.
working mainly on the Treasure Coast,
I am in the Treasure Coast.
Northern Palm Beach County?
Northern Palm Beach, I can. Originally from Broward County,
Right.
but I reside here, and I just something about that area code. It kind of keeps me a sense of still being at home, even though I reside in Port St. Louis.
I keep my 561 number.
There you go.
Okay. If it was up to me, I'd keep my 212 number from New York,
Right.
or my 407 number from Jersey.
Okay.
But, you know, it's interesting. Those are our attachments to our past.
Correct.
And I think our past governs our future.
Yep.
Not always in a good way, but I got to tell you, in this day and age, health is so important. And people like Frito can get you to where you need to be. But remember, it's about the journey, not about the destination. That's life in general. And something you always hear from me is, can you go on YouTube and look it up? Yeah. But always use a professional. And there's so many reasons to use a professional, okay? But sitting next to me is a guy who has proof of concept. And you want to use proof of concept. And you want to use somebody that you can interact with. And you said something that was really interesting, that you go there on a Monday, but Wednesday or Friday you send them an email. You're not going to get that if you just jerk around and look for stuff on YouTube. Use a professional. Fredo, I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Everybody have a great day, and we'll be right back.